45.5.
Let's roll, baby. Welcome into the Ringer Sunday pregame. Getting you ready for Week 5 with winners galore, presented by our friends at FanDuel. JJ Jastremski here in New York City. Let's welcome in the wise guys on this fine Sunday morning. He is back from New York City. He's back home in California. Super cool cousin Sal, Joe House in Washington, D.C., Raheem Palmer in Las Vegas. We got a London game going on. We got some playoff baseball to break down. You know, Sal, it's funny. I feel like I am public enemy number one. I put up a Yankee parlay or a series price on our Twitter handle, on the Ringer, and now all of Canada hates me. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, I didn't want to break this to you, but Canada hated you long before this. And it goes back to, I don't know if it's tariffs or whatever, but no, you got to pull for your team, JJ. I have the Yankees on a big series parlay, too. I can't believe I'm rooting for them, but I am.
And I am not panicking after a game one loss. To me, get more in on Max Free, get more in on that Yankees series prize as we get ready for game number 2. House, are you excited for the return of your glorious quarterback? Because there's a game in California today that is kind of stinky involving the Commanders and the Chargers. Just a little food for thought right out of the gate.
Yeah, 5 is on my side. Things are starting to trend in the right direction. I will tell you this. It is a rat line. It tells you something that it opened 2.5 and stayed at 2.5 all week long, even with Jane Daniels coming back. I'm expecting big things from an unexpected source in terms of catching the football. We'll talk about that on this show today.
Oh, we sure will. And, Raheem, we do have a London game. And you know my policy for the Ringer 107. Friends will not let friends get involved and put an international game as one of the 5. Is there anything that stands out maybe that we can get on board with as a live bet as we go through the next hour and a half?
Well, there's nothing right now. You look at the Cleveland Browns, they are 3rd and 1 at the Minnesota 11. So it looks like they're about to score and either, take the lead or, make this a 1-point game. It's 14-10 right now. I don't have anything right now, but if I have something later, I'll make sure I'll give it to you guys.
Well, we got a whole lot of action, boys. Let's kick it off with a marquee game, 425. Tampa, who's been a darling to me all year, but they are very, very beat up going into Seattle. Seattle, surprising start. Seattle, extra time to prepare for this particular matchup, and the line now is 3 and a hook. For what it's worth, I saw a whole lot of Ringer 107 picks this week that included the Seattle Seahawks. So, Joe House, I'm giving you the T-box like you're playing one with me at Silver Lake Golf Course. Is this a game that catches your eye between the Buccaneers and the Seahawks?
I mean, not only does it catch my eye, JJ, it's my wise wager. I love this Seattle spot right here. This is a tough spot for Tampa. This is them coming off of a physical draining game in Tampa. They have another couple of guys going down. They're flying cross country. It's their first outdoor road game. And at some point, these injuries for Tampa catch up with them. I think it's this game going up against the number 1 ranked defense by DVOA, second in points per game. That's the Seattle defense under Mike McDonald. And this is just a situation where no Bucky Irving, no Mike Evans, Tampa 0-4 since 2023 without Mike Evans, by the way. But really the secondary of Tampa, they're down 3 guys, including Jamel Dean. And Sam Darnold the last 2 years has really, really, really improved against the blitz. I think that this is a situation where the Seattle with the extra rest is just too tall of a task for Tampa. They've been awesome throughout this season, all of their late comeback, late pushes, late wins, but this one is just asking too much. I love Seattle laying that 3.5.
Totally understand it, Joe House. I get the situational spot for the Seattle Seahawks. Don't like where Tampa Bay is currently presiding from an injury standpoint. And I do think at the end of this year, Sal, I still think Tampa is going to have a better record than the Seattle Seahawks. I want that on record, but that's a conversation for a different day. You, sir, are looking at SGP for this game. What's it going to be?
Speaking of situational spots, I'm looking at the situational spot that this Ringer 107, this cockamamie contest has put us in. And we are all, it seems, all on Seattle. And that's what scares me a little. When the most mediocre handicappers in the country get together and get in on one pick, I'm jumping to the same game parlay. Egbuka, 60-plus receiving yards, everyone's favorite, my preseason pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He has done this in 3 of the 4 games. He can get this in one play. We saw it last week. Zach Charbonnet to, what is he? He's going to score a touchdown. He's a vulture down low with 10 red zone carries. That's my second leg. Third leg adjusted over 36.5. House talked about Tampa Bay's secondary issues. Tampa Bay themselves scored 25 points a game. So both teams getting to 37 shouldn't be a problem. And Baker, 10-plus rushing yards. He's done this in every game. 10 is easy. He takes off between 3 and 4 times a game and always has a big run in the fourth quarter to make things close. So it's Mayfield, 10-plus rushing. Egbuka, 60-plus receiving yards. Charbonnet to score a touchdown and over 36.5 adjusted. Pays a good chunk there, JJ, plus 460.
This is a fun SGP. I like the sound of it, Sal. I'll give it a full-fledged endorsement. Now, Raheem, it seems like Seattle, a very popular choice. They're not your wise wager for the week, but can you give Joe House a little check mark for his pick?
Yeah, you know me and House are always on the same page. And you guys know I gave this out on Monday at 3. I think it might have been 2.5 at the time. And the only reason why that's not my wise wager is because this line has moved to 3.5. And we know NFL games land on 3 15% of the time. But I actually don't think the 3 is going to come into question here. I think Baker Mayfield, you're talking about a guy who is 17, 26, and 1, just 32% against teams above 500. And House already mentioned that this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they're bombed out and depleted with injuries. And I look at this Buccaneers team as one of the most fraudulent teams in the league. I spoke on them and the Philadelphia Eagles last week. I wished I could have bet against both of them. But now, since they're not playing against each other, I'm going to bet against both of them. And you look at this Buccaneers team, you look at Baker Mayfield. He has a turnover-worthy throw rate of nearly 6%. And he's going up against the Seattle defense, which is top 10 in EPA per play and success rate. I think Seattle is going to take this team into the deep waters and absolutely drown them. I think they're going to win this game by 10 or more, but I'll lay the 3.5.
All right, clean sweep across the board. We all riding with the Seattle Seahawks in this matchup against the Bucs. Moving on. We have the Denver Broncos, who are a preseason darling, big win Monday night, smoking the hapless Cincinnati Bengals. Now you got Denver going into Philly, taking on the Super Bowl champs. Philly has not lost a game in, it feels like, forever. And the Eagles are laying 4.5 in this spot. Now, for the time being, I have the man's best bet trophy. I have the Pick Cup trophy from my golf 2 years in a row. I want to make it man's best bet 2 years in a row. Well, fellas, this is my dog of the week. The Denver Broncos are going to be barking, and they're going to give Philadelphia their first loss of the year. I just don't like the spot for the Eagles. The Eagles playing a grueling game against Tampa in the heat a week ago, struggling to throw the football. Eagle defense has not looked the same. They have not looked like the prolific unit that they were a year ago. You want to tell me there are hesitations and concerns about backing Bo Nix in this spot? Sure, I get it. But this line opened at a certain point, came down a little bit. I think Denver wins outright. I don't even think I'm going to need these points, Raheem. Give me the Broncos to go into Philadelphia and give the Eagles their first loss of the year. And everybody at the end of this game is going to be saying, hey, the Broncos that we loved all summer, here they are. Dream, are you with me?
I'm definitely with you. I'm taking the Broncos plus 184 on the money line. I mentioned earlier that the Eagles are one of the most fraudulent teams in the league, and they truly are. You're talking about a team that is 30th in yards per play, 4.2 yards per play, ahead of the Bengals and the Titans. That's how garbage this offense is right now. Jalen Hurts, 152 passing yards per game. You're talking about a guy in Jalen Hurts right now who has a 41% success rate. So this Eagles offense is absolutely struggling. And then you look at the Broncos defense, that is the strength. That's the mismatch in this game. The Broncos defense is first in QBR, first in sacks, and second in pressure. So they should be able to get some pressure on Jalen Hurts and hurt that boy today. And then also, I think the Broncos offense should be able to get off against this Eagles defense. As long as Bo Nix doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to win this game. Give me the Denver Broncos on the money line. I don't think you need the points. So they win this game outright.
Ooh, the Bodega Locks boys united with the Denver Broncos. Now, my buddy cousin Sal, I think, is looking at this game in a much different light. Sally boy, you're not with the boys here.
Listen,
disappointing.
of course, I'm rooting for you and Raheem to hit your man's bet. No, I'm not. I'm not at all. But I get
appreciate the honesty. Thank you for the honesty there. No
I get
BS.
the Denver pick, but I just think the Eagles are waiting to make everyone look foolish for doubting them every week. And they almost really did it last week, right? They got off to that huge lead against Tampa Bay, and it was like 4 gigantic plays that got Tampa back in it. The 2 long touchdown passes and the 2 monster field goals. So they're right there. I think they keep Bo Nix in check, especially Bo Nix off a short week here, has to travel. He's barely cracks the top 20 in EPA. And the Eagles allow, 57% pass completion? That's number 1, that defense, in terms of passing. He's not really a comeback guy, Bo Nix. This team had 9 blowout wins last season. It hasn't happened this year. I think they're looking at it, and I'm taking an adjusted minus 13.5. It pays plus 310. But good luck to you boys as well.
One thing I got to add, you look at this Philadelphia Eagles team, and each and every week this season, for whatever reason, in the second half and in the fourth quarter of these games, the opposing team has a red zone turnover. You go back to our game against Dallas. Dallas is at the 10-yard line. Miles Sanders fumbles. You go back to the Rams game. They get 2 blocked field goals. You go back to last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are about to tie the game. You get an interception. Every single game this year. As a matter of fact, go back to the Chiefs game. Travis Kelce is about to score a touchdown and take the lead and drops it. It turns into an interception. So as long as that doesn't happen, the Broncos will win this game. And then you look at the Eagles. Look, they are 11 for 11 in red zone opportunities. How much luck can you get?
It's not luck. It's a rule. It's a stupid rule. They're lucky that rule's on the book, I guess. I don't know.
Now, Joe House, you were very bullish with me on the Broncos in the summertime. It's a big statement game for them. You kind of get the sense and feel you don't want to go anywhere near this. That's just my read on it.
Yeah, I think this is really asking a lot of the Denver Broncos. And you look at the defensive stats that they've pulled together, that's a reflection of them getting to play the Tennessee Titans and the Cincinnati Bengals in the first 4 weeks of this NFL season. I just need to see Bo Nix go on the road and play a good game against a playoff team. I just need to see it for the first time in his career. If you go back, even look at the schedule from 2024, they went 10-7. They beat 1 playoff team. It was Tampa last year. Now, I mean, setting aside the Kansas City game, Week 18, they beat Tampa last year when Tampa had injuries across the whole board. And the 2 games this season that Denver had against the 2 of the top-rated teams, the Chargers and the Colts, they're just not up to it. And look, this vaunted defense of the Denver Broncos had 2 chances to shut down the Chargers and gave up a touchdown scoring drive and a field goal scoring drive in the last 5 minutes of that football game and lost the game outright because of it. So I need to see it one time from these Broncos before I'm ready to jump in.
Fair enough. Moving on, fellas. The New York Giants won their first game of the season in dramatic fashion against the Chargers last week. The Giants are 1.5-point underdogs going to New Orleans to take on the winless New Orleans Saints. And it's now time for my wise wager, because when you have the opportunity to bet on the Rattler, you can't pass that up. I can't believe that I am looking at this thing. Of course you can. But I am looking at this stinker, Joe House, and it is wet in the beak, and it is the apple of my eye. You want to know why? This is an awful spot for the Giants. The Giants are feeling their oats. Everyone's got Jackson Dart fever. Everyone is sipping the Kool-Aid after beating the Chargers a week ago. And yet the odds maker said, yeah, you're going to be underdogs on the road against a winless team. Outside of that performance they had in New Orleans against Seattle where they were non-competitive, New Orleans has been in a lot of these games. They moved the ball effectively against the Buffalo Bills. And the Giants, they don't have Malik Neighbors. That, to me, is an enormous problem on offense. You also look at Dexter Lawrence, a little sick going into this matchup. New Orleans is not going to have many opportunities to go and win a game this year. This is one of these games. You got to just pounce on this bad boy. Hold your nose. It stinks, but the spot is even stinkier for the New York Football Giants. Yeah, baby. I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm going to get mocked by Simmons for betting a terrible quarterback and a terrible team. I don't care. Sally, give me the New Orleans Saints. Let's go.
I'm with you. Listen, I feel bad because Spencer Rattler, the great Spencer Rattler, has a chance to catch Deshaun Kaiser Sose as Sose went 0-15 as a starter. Rattler's 0-10. I agree with you, JJ. I think he notches a W today. He's 1-10. I'm going over 21.5 points for the Saints. They came close to this magic number, 19 against Buffalo, 21 against San Francisco, and they're favored against the 29th ranked defense in yards per game. They allow 25 points per game. Look for a big Alvin Kamara game against this run defense that allows 153. Over 21.5, like 26-19. Raheem, this is the only time they'll be favored this year, right? The Saints, or maybe home against the Panthers. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe against the Panthers, but by far. But I'm going to take what you guys did, and I'm gonna raise the roof. I'm gonna raise the levels of this. I'm gonna go Saints. Adjusted spread -6.5, pays plus 200. And look, I think there's a lot of upside here. I think you have a rookie quarterback on the road. And not only do you have a rookie quarterback on the road, but you have a rookie quarterback without Malik Neighbors. And when you watch that game last week, they scored 21 points, but it mostly came off of Justin Herbert interceptions. And then also, without Neighbors on the field, they only had 3.3 yards per play. So I think if you go down to New Orleans, which is a really tough place to play, I think it just puts them in a bad spot. I actually don't see a lot of points in this game as well. So, the -6.5 is my oh my God wager, but I do like the under 41.5. I don't see the Giants scoring a lot of points at all. I think the Saints should be able to run the ball. And one thing we know from the Giants is they will not be able to run the ball at all. So they're one of the worst run teams in the NFL. So, oh my God wager, Saints -6.5 plus 200, and then I also like the under 41.5.
Come on, House. I know you want to get it on the Rattler. Come on, baby. I know you want to do it.
I have no problem with backing the Saints. It just wasn't anything that I was going to go heavy at. But yeah, the Saints are the right side to me. I agree with you, boys.
Listen, this is one I know to get. I'm going to get mine
for you, JJ.
Surely,
this number was 1.5, and it did move to 2.5. Does that decrease your confidence a little bit? And I know I have my oh my God wager, but that does pay odds. How do you feel about that?
No, it doesn't change much for me, Raheem. I think they win by at least a field goal. And for what it's worth, I'm going to be getting on board with your OMG and adding it to the portfolio before these 1 o'clock games kick off, because I think it's going to be a party in New Orleans. I know it's a party in New Orleans every day. Joe House, cousin Sal, Raheem Palmer know that very, very well from our time we spent down there at the Super Bowl, especially if you find yourself at the craps tables at 4 a.m. But no, don't pass, Raheem. That's my only ask of you. No more don't pass on those craps tables, at least when you with John Jastremski. All right, well, moving on. Kansas City and Jacksonville. Very interesting Monday night game. The Chiefs have found it each of the last 2 weeks. They beat the Giants. They smoked the Baltimore Ravens at home. Boom, they're back to 500. Boom, they're only a game out of first place. They're right where they need to be. Jacksonville, a surprise 3-1. Sal and I bet them to go to the playoffs at the beginning of the year. We bet them to go and win the AFC South. They have played some really, really good football. Sal, I think this line is all about where you get it. 3.5, I like Jacksonville. I do. I'm not there with the Chiefs to say, hey, they're all the way back. They're cured across the board. But I also sense some fraudulence from Trevor Lawrence and the fact that Jacksonville is forcing turnovers at an unsustainable rate. Tough Monday night game. If I had to play it, I would take Jacksonville and hope to get a 3.5. Where do you sit on this one?
Yeah, this is a mind-effing team if there ever was one, Kansas City, right? We're all ready to write them off, and then they score 100 points against the Ravens. I'll tell you where I am, JJ. Of course, I need Jacksonville because, like you, I have them win the AFC South and everything, and that they're catching points at home seems like a good number, and if it went to 3.5, even better. But I have to watch that Ravens-Texans game, which we're going to talk about. If Houston puts up 40 on that Ravens defense, I know they have even more injuries than they had last year, I'm going to discount that Chiefs win from last week big time. So, and then I'll be jumping on the Jags even more.
Fair enough. Now, total-wise, Raheem, you think there's an angle to play?
All right, before we get into the total, I want to talk about this game a little bit because you have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who have they beaten this year? They beat the Carolina Panthers. They lost to the Bengals with Jake Browning. They beat the Houston Texans in a game where the Texans had the ball at the 10-yard line about to score with under 2 minutes to go and fumble. And they beat the San Francisco 49ers, who are bombed out and depleted with injuries. But when you look at those games, they gave up 21 points to the 49ers. 49ers had like 5 turnovers. They gave up 31 points to Jake Browning. Let's talk about this Chiefs offense. A lot of people talk about the Chiefs and how the offense is falling off. They didn't have Xavier Worthy for most of the season, and they still scored on 54% of their possessions, which is 3rd in the league. So I don't know how this Jags defense is going to step up in class and be able to slow down the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is a big step up in class for them. I think the Chiefs are going to get their offense, but also I think the Jaguars are going to be able to score as well. So I do like the over 46.5. I think this goes over the total, but I would steer clear on betting the Jaguars until they prove they can beat good competition because I haven't seen it yet.
You know, Joe House, I've worked with you, and we are buddies now for a couple of years. This reeks of a Joe House Kansas City bet. I feel like this is normally a game on a Monday night. Joe House would look at it and say, yeah, I'm going to throw Kansas City in one of the baseball teams, and I'm going to have a 2-team parlay. Is that fair to say?
Oh, you know me so well, JJ. You cover all the bases, buddy. Kansas City -3 is absolutely one of my favorite bets. I almost put it in as my wise wager for the show. Dream made the case. I would like to see this Jacksonville defense in this step up in class, and I think that what Kansas City showed in terms of a restoration of their explosiveness with just bringing Xavier Worthy back, they put him in jet motion, the sweeps, he's running the ball, and Mahomes is looking down the field more. I do think that this is the true version of Kansas City, and wait till they get back Rashee Rice. I love Kansas City laying the 3.
Boys, let's head to Joe House's favorite team, the Washington Commanders, who welcome back Jaden Daniels at quarterback, and they got to travel cross country after they lost against the Atlanta Falcons to take on a Charger team that stunk up the joint against the Giants last week. They lose Joe Alt. We'll see what his timetable is as far as getting back on the offensive line. I think we can chill out with the Justin Herbert MVP talk after the stinker he laid against the Giant defense. And there were a couple of games, Sal, that profile in this category. Washington and the Chargers, to me, is one of the rat lines. It's not my rat line, but is it your rat line? Because I had about 3 or 4 I jotted down, and this was on the list.
I was in Brooklyn for a week. We did a rat tour with my Aunt Chippy and my cousin Jimmy and Guillermo. So I am familiar with rats now, JJ, and this is a rat line for sure. I think, listen, I hate this game. Even when we didn't know if Daniels was playing, it was 2.5. It remains as 2.5. So you have a gimpy Daniels coming across country against the Chargers, who, by the way, this time last week, everyone had them penciled in to win the AFC West. They were the toast of the town. No one's beating them. All right, now I know they have some offensive line injuries, but I still think this should be 3, maybe even more. My imaginary model has them at 3, not like the imaginary model I had growing through puberty. That was a different story. But it is a rat, JJ. I know my rats. This is it. Chargers may end up being fraudulent. We'll see today. But for now, I'm staying away from this.
Fair enough. Joe House, it is your team. I know you're fired up to see your guy back. These spots normally scream Harbaugh teams respond in a big way. I just don't like the Chargers the way I did earlier in the year. If that offensive line doesn't have Joe Alt. They already don't have Slater. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have Alt. That's problematic. It's just not going to lead to the same success from an offensive standpoint. What do we think here? What's your takeaway? Commanders outright? You point it differently? What's your read on the game?
It's a smelly spot, and Cuz just made a nice case for why. The fact that this number stayed at 2.5 all week long with the Chargers injuries, and look, there's no advantage for the Chargers really in terms of situation. Both teams are traveling from the East Coast back to the West Coast because the Chargers were just playing the Giants up there in the Meadowlands. But look, this Washington team with Jaden Daniels is a radically different football team. Hello. The thing that needs to be sorted out is who is going to catch the football for Washington. The receiver room is all banged up. I think we're going to see a lot of my guy Bill. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Look at his receiver props. This is the thing they've been in search of since Austin Eckler went out for the season with that torn ACL. Very low yardage, very low receptions. He is a sneaky guy coming out of the backfield there. Look for that this week in this matchup with the Chargers.
Okay, Dream, I had a hard time with this game because of the Harbaugh factor. But now the return of Daniels. Like, if I had to play this game, I would take the points with Washington, and I would bank on a resurgent effort from one Jaden Daniels. You have a different way you want to play Washington and LA.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 48.5. You mentioned the offensive line injuries for the Chargers. I don't like the fact that Jaden Daniels is just coming back. He doesn't have Terry McLaurin. I just think this is going to be a lower scoring game, and this is actually a model play. So my model actually puts this at 46 or so. So at 48.5, I see a small edge here. So let's go under.
A model play. I don't like it. I love it. Speaking of people I love, Tate Frazier spends a lot of time with Cousin Sal throughout the football season. Class act, one of a kind. And we have not heard from our buddy Tate in any of these Sundays because now his schedule, in addition to all the great work he does and all the great golf that he plays, we have the Ringer tailgate on his menu on Saturdays. Tate, I know it's supposed to be an off day, but we need something from you on the Ringer Sunday pregame. You got to play for us.
What's up, wise guys? Tate Frazier here. Appreciate you having me on the show to make a pick. I feel like every time I've come on the show, I have made an incorrect pick. So I'm going to do something fun here. I'm going to go to Sunday Night Football. Usually I do the earlier game, and then it's already done and out by the time that, it gets back around. So I'm going to wait till Sunday Night Football, and I'm going to take an anytime touchdown score. I got two for you, and it's redemption. That's the word of the night. We got Stephon Diggs going back to Buffalo. You can get him anytime touchdown plus 250. And if you don't like Stephon Diggs going back and digging into his roots there in Buffalo, let's go with Mac Hollins, who goes back plus 650 anytime touchdown. You could parlay those if you want, or you could just take one or the other. So there you go. I'm going to go Mac Hollins plus 650 anytime touchdown, Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown. Again, the word is redemption, and we'll see it on Sunday night.
All right, Tate. Hopefully, Sal, that goes better for Tate than his Tar Heels yesterday, 24 hours ago. Just saying.
It has to.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
I would hope. Raheem, we have an update in the London game, by the way.
Yeah, so basically what happened, Minnesota, they just fumbled at the Cleveland 44. Cleveland, they celebrated, got a penalty, so they have the ball up 3 at the Cleveland 30.
Minus 230 live line. You biting? Cleveland Browns minus 230 in the fourth quarter. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm not getting involved with the Vikings. Sorry, no way. Not with their offensive situation.
If the Vikings get a stop here on this drive, I think they win this game. But
well, then bet it now then.
We got to talk about Bill Belichick because without Tom Brady, he's like Helver Melvin without the blue notes. You never go flat. I mean, it's bad out there. I mean, this guy's looking like Sam Rothstein and Ginger and Casino because I don't know what's going on with him and his girlfriend, but it's rough down there.
Oh, it's tough sledding, House. Tough sledding for Belichick. The Blue Notes, Raheem. I didn't know you had that in you. I mean, that's one hell of a musical reference, man.
I mean, that's actually a Snoop reference from the first Snoop album.
Well,
you got
even more well played. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to New England and Buffalo. Bill Belichick's former team. They have one of their former players as a head coach, and they're coming off a dominant performance that treated our guy Raheem Palmer rather nicely a week ago when it was a wise wager. This line is at 8.5. Buffalo on Sunday night. Buffalo undefeated, but the defense has looked vulnerable. High total in this game at 49.5. You know, House, I look at this matchup, and I think there's opportunities for Drake May. Now, I don't think New England's going to win the game. I don't think May is going to be able to make the winning plays in crunch time. I do think he's more than capable of keeping this game within the margin. I would advocate for New England. I think if you're going to play this game, the points is the right way to play it. What is your take on Simmons' Patriots against Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills?
I'm on the same page as you, JJ. And the thing that I think that New England has that's different from previous New England seasons is the ability to bring some pass rush, to put some pressure on Josh Allen. Now, obviously, Josh Allen can run away from pressure, but this is a New England team that knows how to at least deal with it. But I think on the offensive side of the ball, they should be able to move the ball against this depleted Bills defense. And, Drake May has really been showing something as he might go from Drake maybe to Drake possibly, because I don't know.
Not yet.
All right.
We can't do it. Can't do it yet.
Not yet. You need at least what is the timetable on that? So we have to give it at least 10 weeks?
Yeah. He's got to get through Halloween, right? But better than 6-4, or at least 6-4 or something. And by the way, the only thing I'm rooting for in this game is for the Patriots to get slaughtered. It makes the podcast with the sports guy so much better. So let's all root for a beatdown here.
All right, so you want pain and suffering for Simmons, who already had some of it with his Red Sox going down against the Yankees. And by the way, Simmons tried everything in his power to put the reverse kibosh on the Yankees after Game 3, Sal, basically conceding the series before Game 3 was played, before shit happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we want more Simmons pain. At least you do. I don't, because I bet the Pats today. How are you handicapping? How are you playing Bills, Patriots on Sunday?
Well, I'm coming off, including last week, miserable Sunday nights with the Cowboys. But so anyway, that's why I have to go that. But my thing is a prop here, player prop. Josh Allen, 40-plus rushing yards. That's an adjusted number. And you get plus 154 for that. He's done that in 2 of his last 4 games, or 2 of the 4 games this year. He's had 40-plus rushing games in 7 contests last year. The Pats have not faced a running quarterback this year. It's Geno Smith, it's Rodgers, it's Tua, who never runs. Even Bryce Young doesn't take off as much as Allen. So I like plus 154. Go Bills.
Okay, Raheem, it's SGP time. I think this is a good game to get involved with as far as an SGP is concerned, because I think we're going to have a whole lot of points. How are we laying this out?
Yes, we're going to go with an SGP, same game parlay. We're going to go with the Bills Patriots over 49.5. You look at the Bills themselves. They haven't scored less than 30 points this year. And I don't know if the Patriots are going to be the team to stop them and slow them down. I think Josh Allen's going to have a big day. So let's go over 225.5 passing yards. You look at some of the games earlier this year from Josh Allen. He hasn't had to do as much, but I think Drake May is going to put some pressure on this Buffalo offense and make them have to go up and down the field. So let's go Josh Allen over 225.5 passing yards. Let's also add Dalton Kincaid, 30-plus receiving yards. You look at New England Patriots, tight ends have really gotten off against them. Brock Bowers had a good day. Tommy Tremble had a good day. So I expect the same from Dalton Kincaid. And then finally, Keon Coleman, 30-plus receiving yards. I think he should get over there. I think Josh Allen has a big day. I think you get a lot of points. I don't know who's going to cover this game, but I think you get a lot of points, and I think you get a shootout tonight.
Fair enough. Okay, a lot of points between New England and Buffalo. Speaking of a game where I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of points, Houston and Baltimore, because in case you've missed the memo, Lamar Jackson will not be playing on Sunday. Baltimore licking their wounds, dealing with a gazillion injuries on defense. However, the Houston Texans are one of the worst offensive teams in the league. Now, let's keep the SGP train going. I have no desire to get involved with this game in any way, shape, or form. It is one of our Ringer 107 picks. It's my teammates, Raheem Palmer's. I'm not going near it, but I'm rooting for it. Be that as it may. Jill House, I'm surprised this has SGP written all over it, but you've been the king of them this year, so I'm not going to question your judgment. Lay it out for me, big boy.
Yeah, 3 straight SGP 4-leggers. And then last week we had, we tried for 6 different, we had 4 out of 6 legs hit on a couple of different plays. So I think that puts us like 25 out of 20, whatever. We're not going to do math, but this is an opportunity, I feel like. And it's an opportunity to get on Houston. So this is the Houston Texans money line. They're going to go into Baltimore, win outright, because they're going to hold the Baltimore Ravens under 20.5 points. This is the recipe for this. Those are the first 2 legs of this. Look, this is, everybody knows how depleted the Baltimore defense is, and this is Cooper Rush up against one of the top-rated Texans defenses. Look, these Texans, in their 3 losses, held each of their opponents to 14 points inside the 2-minute warning. So they had three losses, 3 one-score losses, and their opponents in each of those games, Rams, Jaguars, and whatever. They were right there with them. And look, Woody Marks' arrival for this team changes their offense complexion. They have been a bad team on offense, but Woody Marks is filling that role that we saw out of Joe Mixon last year, which is the ability to catch balls out of the backfield and get some yardage on the ground. Marks over 16.5 receiving yards, and then look, Nico Collins, a very modest line for him, 70.5 receiving yards. He got 79 last week. He had 104 in week 3. This is the Nico Collins that they need. Nico Collins gets opened up when Woody Marks is running and catching balls out of the backfield. So those are the 4 legs.
Good luck, House. The SGPs have been hot. Let's stay hot. Raheem Palmer, you gave us a wise wager last week that was over from Jump Street. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, my man. What do we have in store for an encore with the Texans and the Ravens?
Yes, we have an encore right now. We're going to go with the Houston Texans on the money line. I really like this play. A lot of people will say, oh, the Baltimore Ravens, the look-ahead line was -9, so they have value. I don't care. This Baltimore Ravens team is fundamentally a different team. Without Lamar Jackson, without Kyle Hamilton, without Roquan Smith, without Marlon Humphrey, without Justin Matabuke, they are a completely different team. The Ravens, outside of any game except for the Browns, they've given up 37 points or more. So that can be the cure for this Texans offense, which has been struggling. The Ravens are 30th in pressure rate. Now, let me remind you, Lamar Jackson isn't playing. Cooper Rush is playing. Well, he played against the Texans last year. The Cowboys lost 34-10. Cooper Rush was 32 of 54, 354 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and was sacked 5 times, and he fumbled twice. So we know this Houston Texans pass rush is going to be able to get to him. He had a negative EPA per play of 16.9. Cowboys had a 36% success rate in that game. Now, let me remind you, the Houston Texans, they've lost 3 games by 1 score. Look at those games. Against the Rams, they were at the 18-yard line about to score and take the lead. They fumble. Against the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, they score in the last play of the game. Against the Jaguars, they are inside the 10-yard line with under 2 minutes to go and fumble. So they've had some bad luck this year. They are going to take this Baltimore Ravens team into the deep waters and absolutely drown them. If they don't lose this game again, if they don't win this game, I am not betting on the Texans again. So that's what it is.
I understand. I mean, I feel the same way with the New Orleans Saints this week against the New York Giants. And Raheem going with a Texan team that's got a lousy record. Some bad luck, but a lousy record. I decided for my wise wager, I'm going to take a winless team. Sal, you for your wise wager, we're going to go to Detroit and Cincinnati in the Week 5 theme of hold your nose.
Yeah.
It stinks, but we're taking it anyway. We're getting bold and frisky on the show this week, and that's what I love about you guys. You're not afraid to let it all hang out. We're not just going to be boring. We're going to have a little fun and spice it up on a Sunday. Make the case for the underdog, Sally Boy.
Well, you know what stinks, JJ? What stinks is I've won this trophy 2 years in a row. I'm going for number 3, and you guys aren't putting up a fight. I'm 3-1. I've won 3 in a row, so I have to help you out a little. I have to take one of the worst teams of the decade in the Cincinnati Bengals, and not only do I have to take them, I have to remind the crew that they're not getting 10.5. They're getting 9.5 now, so I'll even give you guys a point. I'm giving you a shot to catch up. I just like this spot for Cincinnati. I don't know about Detroit outdoors, why they need to lay the smack down on the Cincinnati team who's gotten outscored 76-13 in the last 2 weeks. And I know Detroit's red hot. You look at all the trends for Dan Campbell against the spread and this and that, and they've even beaten Cincinnati 7 in a row. It just doesn't sit right for me. You know it, Raheem. In the NFL, even the worst teams don't really get blown out by the spread 3 weeks in a row. And that's what I'm counting on here. Maybe Jamar Chase gets free early on and Detroit's playing a little catch up. Let's do 23-19. Cincinnati saves face a little bit. Give me the 9.5 here. There's a freebie for you guys. Come on now.
Well, listen,
I really agree with this one.
Me too. Go ahead, Raheem.
Look, last week, the Detroit Lions were laying 9.5. Against the Cleveland Browns, against Joe Flacco, and we know that offense is anemic. Well, Jake Browning and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they have a much better offense. So I think they should be able to put up a much better fight. And this is the second straight road game in which the Lions are laying double digits pretty much. This would have been a wager for me at 10.5, but obviously it moved to 9.5 this morning. I'm not as brave as you, Sal, but I think the Bengals, this is a kitchen sink spot, as Bill Simmons would say. I mean, pretty much they go all out, or Zach Taylor might be fired tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, at least I'm honest about the line. JJ's wisest wagers moved the point. He didn't say a word. His baby daughter was whispering it in his ears. He's like, calm down. Don't say, we don't want anybody to hear this.
What kind of fake news are you spreading on this show?
Well, it did move. It did move. It's fine. It's fine.
What New Orleans went to 2.5?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, I don't care. I like it either way. New Orleans going to win the game.
No,
so you want to give me 2.5, 1.5? I'm a man of honor. I don't care. They're going to win the game.
22-20.
Oh, that's not nice. That's not nice, Cousin Sal. Joe House, I thought, and I said this to Raheem on Thursday, we were going to be the only ones in the Ringer 107 competition that took Cincinnati. And then Cousin Sal says, nah, hold my beer. I'm not only taking it, it's going to be my wise wager of the week. Cincinnati has looked so bad since Joe Burrow has left the lineup. We know their problems defensively. And what scares me about the game is that Campbell has been unreal in these spots as a favorite. I mean, he is a cover machine as a head coach over the last couple of seasons, but it is a god-awful spot for the Lions, isn't it, Joe House?
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad spot for the Lions. I just think that it's the kitchen sink. And the history of gambling tells you that the Bengals are the correct side, especially at that 10.5 number. It's a mandatory bet on the Bengals. You must cast aside everything that your eyes have seen out of Jake Browning. We keep saying that Jake Browning with these weapons are a good offense. There's no evidence of it. None whatsoever other than the dumb Jacksonville Jaguars aiding and abetting their own demise with Browning. We've seen maybe one quarter of good football out of this Bengals offense, but Browning and these weapons otherwise have been dead in the water. The way that Detroit has been scoring this season, I'm staying away from this game, but the correct side is the Bengals, if you believe in betting history.
You were watching the Ringer Sunday pregame presented by our friends at FanDuel right here on YouTube. You can comment, you can like, you can do all that beautiful stuff. We have a lot more coming your way. Anthony Dabbundo is going to join us. Probably still licking his wounds after the Phillies lost Game 1 to the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's been red hot with his wise wager. Sorry, not involved in the competition when you just blindly play Texan unders. You get banned for that. That's just the way it goes. Dabbundo will join us. We have the family meal to get to. We have more games to get to. Wise guys are just getting warmed up. Stay with us.
All right, before we talk about what's coming up on the podcast, Niners-Rams tonight. So this was on during the Red Sox game that we're going to be talking about later. And then actually the fourth quarter was happening as Kevin Hench and I were recording our Red Sox postmortem and talking about Schlittler and what this means for the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. What are the silver linings? We did a whole bunch of stuff, and it was really fun. And then the game went in overtime, so I actually watched the overtime just now. And the Rams went for it on 4th and 1 with a typical terrible Sean McVay 4th and 1 call. This is like, for what a genius he is as an offensive mind and what a great coach he is. And I think he's one of the best 5 or 6 coaches. It's stunning how bad some of his big 4th and 1 or like season on the line, game on the line, some of his calls, like I was like, I'm watching it going, please don't run Williams right into the middle in front of 8 guys. Just do the play where Puka just flares out and he throws it for 2 yards, like or fake that you're gonna. Nope, nothing. The Niners end up stealing it. The Niners are now 4-1, even though half of their team is injured. Mac Jones, who looked like he was playing on one leg and just got hurt over and over again during the game, finished with 342 for 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne was over 100 yards. These are all like former failed Patriots. This is the year of former failed Patriots. Why is God torturing us? But it was a great win for the Niners. The Rams fall to 3-2. And I think the big winner might have been the Seahawks, because I still think the Seahawks are the live bet in that division. Joe House and I are going to talk about that later. But it was a really, really great Thursday game. And for a second, it felt like another tie was in play. There are never ties ever. We had a tie Sunday, and it felt like there would be another one today. But the Rams really blew it. They ended up, I think they were 8.5, 8-point, 9-point favorites. It was over 7 by the time game time happened. And the Niners playing on short rest, it seemed like a throwaway game for them in a lot of ways. And it wasn't. Somehow they are now 4-1. Their over-under for the year was 10.5. And it seemed like when they started getting all these injuries, no way.
We're back here on the Ringer Sunday pregame. John Jastremski, Cousin Sal, Raheem Palmer, and Joe House. We have a lot more games to break down as far as Week 5 is concerned. That San Francisco team, despite all the injuries, finding ways to win. We saw that Thursday against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, next up, fellas, we have to bring something to the committee. Because I was taking a lot of heat, I guess, for this New Orleans Giant line that Cousin Sal, you claimed, moved. I just checked the FanDuel odds. It did not. So I would like, number one, an apology on behalf of me and the audience.
I told you I want you guys to win. Let's make this close. And Raheem, start giving us real lines here. Come on.
So Sal,
I think it might have moved. I saw 2.5.
Well, it might have, but at the moment, it's 1.5 on the FanDuel site. So I just don't want any misinformation being spread here on the Ringer Sunday pregame. We are men of honor, as you know. But as we get ready for the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets, Joe House, I want to let you know the New York Jets on FanDuel are now favored by 1.5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this is not misinformation.
This is not.
Where do we stand? Do we allow Cousin Sal and Raheem Palmer? Joe House had a man's best bet that was going to be brought to the table.
Which is
it
an underdog.
now allowed because they're favorites?
No, they're not. They're under. You don't need to ask them. The favorite, you can't play a favorite as an underdog. I can't play
are we even getting involved in these tic-tac? We call it tic-tac lines. If they're 1.5, it's almost definitely going to switch and then switch back and then switch back again. This isn't a ballsy underdog pick to begin with, House. I know we're doing it by units by the end of the year anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But come on.
To be fair to House, this line was 2.5. all week long. And in our production meeting on Friday, a lot of times we fill out our picks on Friday, maybe Saturday. It was 2.5. This didn't go to 1.5 until late yesterday. So at some point in time, this is a market. We can't be mad at House for, locking his number in earlier this week or Friday or Saturday morning. So I think for the sake of this show, we kind of just got to give it to him.
No, I will not accept it.
You know what, House? I appreciate this commitment, and we will now give you. You're going to be able to make the case for the Jets in a moment, but I am now going to give you a game now you could have in addition as your man's best bet.
Not in addition. This is now not a play. That the Jets minus 1.5 is not a play. I'll make the case why I think the Jets are going to be competitive and why I think they will win outright. I don't have any problem with that. I am riding with the Washington Commanders today, going in to Los Angeles and beating the Chargers' ass. Watch my guy Bill ladder up that man's receiving yards. Look for him for an anytime touchdown. Watch this. Cliff Kingsbury in his bag against his Chargers defense. We're up for it. This is it. The Commanders on the money line, baby. Commanders are for real. This is it.
Hold on, Washington just moved to minus 1.5. You got to
We're not going to do that to you. But Joe House, listen, I had this Jet Cowboy game as my rat line of the week because Dallas did look good.
Clearly.
They looked really good against Green Bay, despite the fact they tied the game. And I saw the Jets in person Monday against Miami. That looked like an embarrassing unit across the board. They have injuries on defense. They're doing boxing ball security drills because they turn the football over left and right. But I had no desire to get on board with either one of these teams because I hated the letdown for Dallas. And Cousin Sal, you just can't convince me to bet the Jets at any point in time. I just can't do it.
I'm not going to convince you. I'm not going to convince you about the Cowboys, though, either. I mean, I have a weird play on this where I would go Dallas to win the first half, the game to end the tie, the regulation game to end the tie, plus 2,700 you get for that. Do the same thing with the Jets to win the first half, game to end the tie for regulation. There you go. I want the Cowboys to end with all ties. I'd be happy. Raheem, you're a Cowboys fan. I don't know how you would feel if we ended up 1-2-14 at the end of the year. I think that's a big win for Jerry. Do we get the 7th seed at 1-2-14? I would hope so.
How does that impact win totals?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just
it's not a win. I think it's very simple.
Is it not a win point or something? I mean, I feel like I'm doing my best job to replicate the Cowboys at 1-2-1 right now. I'm the only one with the tie. So I don't know. I just hope I don't replicate them. But as far as this game, this one's really interesting because the Cowboys just have so many injuries on the offensive line. I think that's a big part of the line move. And the thing with the Jets is that the Jets defense is really, really bad. I mean, Aaron Glenn was supposed to be an upgrade, but he looks more like Robert Saleh but with no defense. So, I mean, Dak Prescott gives the Cowboys such a high floor that this one's really scary for me, especially coming off the spot where they played probably the best game they've ever could have possibly played against the Green Bay Packers, and they still didn't win. So I'm staying away from this one.
Reeks of a stay away. Now, there's another game that might reek of a stay away. That involves the Miami Dolphins, who lose Tyreek Hill for the season. They also win their first game of the year against the Jets on Monday night. Short week, on the road, small favorite against the Carolina Panthers. Sal, my sense is you're going to have a lot of sharps coming in and betting Carolina because, hey, who wants to bet on the Dolphins? And two, Carolina can't possibly look as bad as they did the week prior against the Patriots. My counter would be they can look as bad as they did against the Patriots because they're just a dreadful football team. Issues on the offensive line, not going to have Chuba Hubbard. I think the middle of the field is going to be wide open for Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle. I don't think the Dolphins win a whole lot of games this year. I would play Miami in a spot. I'll take a money line at minus 116. You, sir, though, you hate the Dolphins, so you're going the other way.
Well, did this flip too? Carolina
No,
favorite
this
now?
is 1.5.
Okay,
so
it's
if Alex wants this, a man's best bet, he could have it.
Yeah. So if you step back, though, guys, and look at it, you could have two winners betting against Carolina and New Orleans if their opponents just win by 2 points. I don't know if this is ever going to happen again. So that said, I still like Carolina. Monster win for you, JJ. Congratulations, Monday night. Now you have to travel to Carolina. I put this at a 5 on the confidence scale because they are just god-awful. They really are. They've only had one home game this year, Carolina, but facts are facts. They do not give up any points at home. You saw what they did to Atlanta. That's what's going to happen. Panthers haven't covered as a favorite if this moves to them being a favorite in 4 years, but I think this is the week, JJ. Sorry, against the Tyreek Hill-less Miami Dolphins.
And listen, I understand. Anybody thrown in this contest one way or another is certifiably insane.
Yeah.
How's this week of a game you wanted absolutely no interest in, correct?
No interest in betting on it. No interest in watching it. Good luck to all those the fans of both franchises.
There you go. I will be holding my nose and watching it for 3+ hours. But this 1 o'clock slate features a couple of these games that are hold specials. Raheem, a lot of people I feel like came in on Carolina earlier in the week, and that kind of backed off as we got closer to kickoff. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of like a pros versus Joes game. I think you're going to have, pros pretty much on Carolina, feeling like this is a short week for Miami. Obviously, no Tyreek Hill, who opens up that offense. And then, expecting a bounce back from the Carolina Panthers, who got blown out last week. I think, one of the prevalent sentiments of NFL sharps is that you back a team coming off a blowout. So that's probably what they're doing.
Boys, moving on. We have the Raiders, who after their win in New England in week 1 have looked dreadful for these last couple of weeks, including a crushing loss at home against the Chicago Bears, going to Indianapolis to take on a Colts team that's 3-1, had a very tough loss against the Rams, a game that looked like it was going to be a win. Classic fumble in the end zone. Tutu Atwell, significant to some for 80 yards down the field. And I was very, very happy about that result. The boys have a lot of action on this Vegas Colts game. Sal, I will start with you. You're taking a big swing here for a man's best bet because you want to try to catch up on some units. Right. You think the Raiders are live in this game?
I do. They're plus 275. That's my man's best bet. I'm confident the line won't swing from +7 to -1 here, Hal. So I'm going to take them as my underdog here. I got on the board, as a couple of us did with the Jaguars last week, man's best bet. I thought I was going to go winless in this category. But I think even though the Colts are probably a decent team, a loss like they had, JJ, last week with the ball exchange over the goal line of Donnie Mitchell, that could really sink a team. That could be a turning point. We saw kind of thing happen with the Bears last year. Could be the same for the Colts, and especially, let's face it, a Daniel Jones-led team. And as bad as the Raiders are, remember, they always have a game that they shouldn't win, and it's usually on the road. This could be it as a 7-point underdog. Remember, last year they beat Baltimore in Baltimore. 2 years ago, it was a Christmas game, right? They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So I think this is the one. Don't throw dirt on Geno just yet. This is going to be an ugly 23-17 type game. And at like 3:55 p.m. Eastern time, you're going to be focused on this one.
And I'm sure a whole lot of knockout polls will be featuring the Indianapolis Colts. just trying to go and win the game. Maybe this is a bloodbath week as far as the knockout is concerned. We shall see. Joe House, you look at this game and you're saying, okay, I'm playing it totally differently.
Well, I'm nothing if not a petty bettor. And on this program a week ago, I had this Raiders team at home in a great spot with the Bears coming in. Now, Raheem Palmer on this program at this very time last week told us that the Raiders are a bottom 5 team in the entire NFL. Well, Raheem was right and I was wrong because the Raiders invent ways to lose. They turn the ball over. They're bad on special teams. They got their game-winning field goal effort blocked. They rack up penalties. And, there are a lot of questions about Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. Is this the worst reunion since, I don't know. We have to go into the Wayback Machine to find some bad reunions in history. I don't believe in this Raiders' ability to move the ball. The problem with Geno Smith is he's holding the football too long. He's holding it for nearly, a quarter of a second longer. There are no quick hit options for him in this offense. He is at this point through 4 games, career worst performance in terms of sack rate. And so I just don't see an outlet for him to get rid of the football. The Raiders defense is bottom of the league in most pass defense categories, and this Colts offense is humming. So I'm playing the Colts on an alt spread, laying 13.5 at plus 200.
Boys, I looked at this game, and I think it profiles for an SGP. I think the Raiders are going to have some success moving the football. I think Indianapolis' offense is going to have no problem with that Raider defense. I think the Colts just to win the game. Okay. Jonathan Taylor has gotten off to a great start this year. Anytime touchdown. Hopefully he doesn't fumble the ball at the 1-yard line. I don't need any more of that. Geno Smith, 225-plus passing yards. Think he's going to have to throw the football against this Colt defense. Michael Pittman, 50-plus receiving yards. We'll take that SGP a little over 4-1, and it reeks of a winner. Okay, we have another game involving a team from the NFC.
Real quick, JJ. Sorry to interrupt. Raheem, plus 250. Vikings driving. They're at their 20. They need 3 to tie. They need 80 yards to win.
I can't trust this Vikings team. I mean, they've just driven down to Cleveland territory twice. They missed the field goal and they fumbled. So anything can happen.
Okay.
You're getting on board with it, Sally?
I think so. First down run or close to here. Yeah, I like the plus 250 here.
You better fire now. Okay. Yep. There's another team in the AFC South we got to get to. They have not won a game. House made the case Raiders may be a bottom 5 team in the NFL. Tennessee Titans are the worst team in the NFL from what I've seen over the first couple weeks. They're without question the most poorly coached team that you're going to find with Callahan, who's as bad as can be. Arizona laying 8.5 never sounds appetizing. That said, Raheem, I took Arizona as my knockout pick for the week. What can go wrong? Backing Kyler Murray is an enormous favorite. A whole lot of prayers. You look at the Arizona Cardinals as a good teaser leg. What would that teaser
Yes, I'm going to do a 2-team 6-point teaser. We're going to lay Cardinals minus 2.5, Colts minus 0.5 point. You got to lay minus 134 juice on FanDuel. It's a lot of juice, but, I mean, look. Brian Callahan is just so abysmal as a head coach that if he goes into Arizona and beats me, so be it. So that's just my philosophy here. And I think the Colts, they get off the snide after losing last week against the Rams. I just think it's 2 good spots for 2 good home teams. You tease those, you pretty much get even money.
I like the sound of that. Cardinals, Colts, just win, baby. Boys, speaking of just win, we need to go 4 for 4 on anytime touchdowns. We've had a couple of really close calls. I feel like the process has been sound. We're in a much better state of mind than a Brian Callahan coach team. Let's get in the kitchen and cook up the Week 5 anytime touchdown family meal. Sal, we're looking for winners. You're not getting cute with this. I feel like you've done this now multiple weeks. Ain't broke, don't fix it. Who are we taking?
Well, it's a little bit broke. I feel bad because my pick is boring. I have Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown, which I said is mashed potatoes. You can't screw it up. Well, it got screwed up last week. He didn't score. So we're going to add some liver to the mashed potatoes. Got to get that bad taste going down. But the last time he went 2 weeks straight, 2 weeks consecutive without scoring was early January 2023. He took a week off from tushing and pushing. Let's brotherly shove our way, those mashed potatoes and liver down our throats here. Daniel Jones had a rushing touchdown against Denver. Minus 140 is a small price to pay when you have Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown.
So rumor has it, Joe House for our anytime touchdown bet. And he's had a long week. He's been traveling. He's been doing this. I heard there was some frisbee golf, which I need a little bit of a definition on. You're going to have to explain that to me tomorrow when we do East Coast Bias when we have a little bit more time. I'm fascinated about this concept. But the rumor was, Joe House, you ate so much food that when we needed our anytime touchdown pick, you submitted a fake name. Is that accurate? Am I getting false reporting? Is there more misinformation being spread on this show? Or what can you confirm? That looks delightful, by the way.
I really was down in Austin, Texas for the weekend after being up at Bethpage Black and JJ banging chains. I mean, it's right over my shoulder here with the disc. You know, disc golf. Everybody knows it. It's a great time out there with the boys. But yes, I had Michael Carter lined up, teed up. I was in a Texas frame of mind, so I wrote in there Michael Walker, Texas Ranger, by accident. That meat coma from those beautiful ribs. But I do like Michael Carter against this abysmal Tennessee Titans run defense to get a touchdown. The number of attempts for him is around 12. I don't think he needs but half of those to get into the end zone. Tennessee, the worst team in the NFL, giving up rushing touchdowns. So get a little juice, play Michael Carter, not Michael Walker, anytime touchdown.
Dream, you're going to MetLife Stadium. A guy's gotten off to a red-hot start to the year. Going to find pay dirt again?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, minus 140, anytime touchdown. Bringing some baby back ribs to the platter. Everybody got to eat real good. The biggest thing here is that, look, the Jets are giving up 30 points per game and 130 rushing yards per game. So this Jets defense, they can't stop anybody. And then more importantly is that I feel like this is mispriced. Let's look at some of the running backs around the league. You got Jonathan Taylor. He's like minus 230 on anytime touchdowns. You got Derrick Henry. He's in the minus 200 range. So it feels like Javonte Williams, who gets all of the red zone touches for the Dallas Cowboys, is still priced as if he's not that red zone carrier. So let's take Javonte Williams. Let's eat some baby back ribs. Let's lick our fingers. Let's wipe our faces and eat really good.
Well, I love some baby back ribs. I get sauce all over my face. I eat like an absolute slob. Hopefully this is going to be a little neater between the Dolphins and the Panthers. I like a Devon Achane anytime touchdown. Tyreek Hill is not in the lineup, as you know. The middle of the field, I think, is going to be wide open in this particular matchup. And Achane has been finding a way to score touchdowns. He's at minus 140. I think you'll have some points between the Dolphins and the Panthers. When in doubt, you go with your best guys. And Miami just lost one of their best guys. Let's rely on Devon Achane. Let's take a look at the anytime touchdowns for Week 5 from the Wise Guys. Sal, getting basic with a little Jalen Hurts. House, anything but basic with Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, and Devon Achane. That pays a little over 10-1. Boys, let's bring it home let's cash that sucker.
JJ, I just looked it up. Michael Walker, House, is a wide receiver for the Eagles. He has 2 receptions for 15 yards. White guy out of Boston College. So he's plus 45 million to score today. If you want to keep that.
You want to
Is he
take him?
still in the league?
Oh, my God.
You're going to feel bad if he scores. And then, so.
Yeah, I didn't bring this up. But for the second consecutive week, Sal made up a mashed potato dish.
I know.
And the
Last
liver
week it was
sounded
lobster, mashed potatoes. Now it's liver. What goes on in your house for Thanksgiving? I might need. I've never seen nothing like this.
You know what? I'm going to invite you this year for Thanksgiving, and then you'll never come. You'll be like, "What the hell? Why did I ever step foot in that house?" But yeah,
what was the unrelated, Sal?
Yeah.
As you have returned from New York, the best pizza slice that you had was from where?
You know, I had L&B. Oh, man.
That's so good.
L&B. I think it's L&B,
so good,
man. It's so different and so good.
That's usually a part of the JJ Football Sunday routine. But
is it really?
Oh, yeah. They deliver, baby.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I live 15 minutes away. And by the way, for any of the amateurs out there, if you get the regular slice from L&B, you're a jabroni. You got to get the half tray. If you don't get the half tray, just walk out of the pizzeria because you're a clown.
That's it. I like it.
That's what we do. We tell you how to eat around here.
I'm
we
a
give
clown
you picks.
anyway because I have red sauce all over my head. My
Well, I
face
mean,
when I'm
messy
leaving.
eater,
Yeah.
yes. Clown, no.
Yeah.
Joe House, always fun. Enjoy the football. And I appreciate you being a man of honor for the audible on the man's best bet because the line flipped. You're a man of true character for doing so.
Yeah, I might mess up a guy's name in a meat coma, but and an underdog is an underdog. We will always play it straight.
Hero.
A hero, a gentleman, and a scholar, Joe House. Let's take a look at the wise wagers for Week 5. Joe House rolling with the Seattle Seahawks, laying the 3.5. Sal and I are holding our nose with these two wise wagers. Sally taking the Bengals, and he even dropped the line at 9.5. They tried to screw me an extra point with the Saints, but they are at 1.5 against the New York Football Giants. And then for Raheem, he is taking the Houston Texans on the money line with Baltimore not having Lamar Jackson, and it is Cooper Rush. We say goodbye to Joe House. We welcome in the king of the under. Do we have Texan Raven under lined up already, Anthony Dabbundo? Good to see you, buddy boy.
4-0, gentlemen. 4-0. The Phillies are 0-1, but the wise wagers are 4-0. It's good to be here.
You will trade a loss gladly for a wise wager if it means you're going to get a Philly Game 2 win against the Dodgers. Dabbundo, what's the temperature in Philadelphia after that loss? You had the lead, the big Teoscar Hernandez home run. A lot of nervous folks getting ready for Monday night.
I actually just came from an M-Lot tailgate, and it's going to be a weird weekend if the Eagles don't take care of business today at home. People have now come to the realization there's only one trustworthy team in this town, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll see how this game goes, and I'm going to have a bet on that game in a minute. But a lot of people are a little bummed. And the thing is, like, you're tailgating the Eagles game, and Citizens Bank Park is right there. So it's just a constant reminder of the horror show that happened in last night's 7th inning.
Yeah, fair. And I almost look at it, Dabbundo. The Phillies have had so many opportunities in the playoffs over the last couple of seasons. Obviously, getting to the World Series against Houston, the Game 6 and 7 losses at home to Arizona. Last year, they had a great regular season. They lose in 4 to the Mets. Is the feel in Philly, this is the last chance for this core, or is that not necessarily fair?
I don't think that's necessarily fair. I think they have pretty good pitching depth, but we'll see. I mean, you don't know how many chances you're going to get, right? You think you have more chances, and then you end up getting injuries or things happen or regression or, anything can happen, right? So we're trying to cherish these moments we have, but trying to put it out of my mind. We got 36 hours until Game 2. I got some time to think, some time to ponder. Ready to watch some football instead and distract myself from it.
JJ, the Dodgers did everybody a favor yesterday. You get Major League Baseball. Look, who does the baseball fans want to see? They want to see the Yankees advance. They lost. They want to see the Cubs advance. They lost. They want to see the Dodgers advance. Sorry, Dabbundo. The truth hurts. That's what it is. They at least came through. We need more of this. We need to even it up.
Yeah, but you know what though? Let me throw some takes here on what we saw with the baseball before we get to Dabundo's picks. Dabbundo. Out of the 4 teams that lost game 1s, Cubs, Yankees, who are basically an underdog with Toronto's best pitcher and the Yankees' 4th best pitcher. Game Toronto, by the way, absolutely had to have. Seattle, we called it in our group chat. We said that's a stinky, stinky game. Seattle ended up losing outright to Detroit. And the Phillies, like, out of the game 1 losers, if you had to say out of any of the 4, this one should be the most concerned, who would it be?
Most concerned should be Seattle.
Totally agree.
With Skubal in Game 2 and Game 5.
Skubal in Game 2. Good luck.
Gilbert potentially Game 3. They're not sure if he's healthy. Maybe he might be tipping. It's definitely them. Least concerned is probably your Yankees.
The Minnesota Vikings just scored. Yeah. The touchdown is 21-17. Sal hit his live bet plus. But
it's a game over.
I don't want to jinx it, but he's in good position right now. But yeah, the Seattle Mariners, it feels like at any given time, they could have the worst offense in the history of any sport. Like at any given time. So they were laying minus 195 yesterday. I don't know how you trust this team.
Yeah. Pitching chaos. Detroit Tigers run prevention machine chugs on for another day. I don't know. I'm going to have a side screen for Skubal today.
Can I get you on board with a Yankee Tiger money line parlay?
Let's do it. I'm flush with cash right now with these Vikings if they hold on for the next 25 seconds.
Well, JJ, Friday I mentioned I like Toronto Game 1, Yankees series 3-1, so I'm riding that. I'm not going to parlay it today.
Oh, my boy. And Dabbundo, by the way, riding the Yankee to lose game one and the Yankee to win the series because he did the exact same thing in the series against the Boston Red Sox. And Dabbundo, job well done. I have not seen a series price on the Yankees. Let's see. Plus 128. Oh, I'm getting on board with that, especially when all of Canada hates me after my game one prediction. But you know what? Canada, bring it on. Let's go. I'm taking on your Tariffs. I'm taking on your Blue Jays. Let's rock and roll. Okay, Dabbundo. Now let's get to your football picks. You have a bunch for us. You came on flexing, and you know what? You deserve to flex after you've gotten off to a 4-0 start. I'll allow it. It's justified. It's deserved. But are you going to bore us with another under today?
JJ, what is the goal of this show?
To bore us with unders.
That's correct. Look, I wasn't planning originally to do it this week because the line moved 4 points, and I'm like, but I'm not getting the best of the number. And like, do I really love it as my best bet? Like, is it my favorite bet? But then I looked at everything else I bet this week, and you know, the lines have moved a little bit, and a couple of things I wanted to use in a different segment. So I was like, for my wise wager, I'm 4-0 riding. I'm just going to keep betting it until I have a strong reason not to bet it or it loses. Yeah. And in this week, neither are true. Cooper Rush comes in for Lamar Jackson. I feel like the Baltimore offense could very quickly turn to complete mush here. Without Lamar against this defense, this dominant defense, they put Stingley on Zay Flowers, take him out of the game. They've been so good at getting pass rush. The Ravens O-line, I think, gets propped up by Lamar a little bit. I'm not sure it's as good as people think, without Lamar's scrambling ability and evasiveness in the pocket to help them out. And then on the other side, look, I know Houston had that offensive explosion in the second half, fourth quarter last week, but that game was 6-0 in the fourth quarter. They still can't block effectively. And for as much as this Baltimore defense does have problems all over the field, it's not like Houston hasn't played other bad defenses and still struggled to move the ball, right? So these are two dead nut under teams right now. Houston, Baltimore under 40.5 minus 105.
When in doubt, the Bundo going to roll with a formula that's had success. And you know what, Sal? If he keeps winning, I guess he can have the last laugh on this. But sooner or later, he's going to lose one of these, right? He has to.
Yeah, he's like the little boy at the kids' table. It's like drawing pictures and showing us, the rest of us. Like, look what I did. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, 4 weeks in a row, you made us laugh with your doodles. Very nice.
I can't wait for Jack Wilson to text me at 4 o'clock. Did it again, because last week that text lit me up. I was so excited. And he's like, and he does it again. So we'll see. We got... I don't even want to watch this game, too. Like, this game would never
neither. I have no desire
to watch this game. It would never make my quad box if not for the wager.
Raheem, is there a luckier team than the Texans? They faced the Titans in a get-right spot last week, and then they have to go against a Lamarless Baltimore. That defense is how are we ever going to know if they're good or not, this Texans team?
I'm pretty confident they're not good.
I'm confident that they have a Super Bowl caliber defense and a lottery,
a UFL caliber offense.
Yeah, like it's just I've never seen a wider dichotomy between different units.
The Browns might be giving them a run for their money for what it's worth.
Oh yeah,
1,000%. Okay, it's OMG time, Dabbundo. You go from an under to yet another under.
Betting against human achievement, JJ. It's my finest thing I bring to this show. Just talking to some fans in the M-Lot, a lot of excitement about the Eagles, and rightfully so. I think there's a lot of sentiment in the market, at least amongst people who are prognosticators, that Denver catching 3.5, 4.5 is a good bet. And I get all the criticisms about the Eagles offense, and I see it, and we watch it every week. I want to take them out of this handicap because I truly do not know. They're so Jekyll and Hyde. They're so inconsistent. You don't know what you're getting week to week, half to half, quarter to quarter, play to play. I'm taking them out of the equation. And what I like about this matchup is that the Eagles defense with Bond and Campbell and DeJean kind of monitoring the middle, taking away the screens, this Eagles defense matches up, I think, really well with Denver's offense. And Denver's offense, we know the Bo Nix air yards jokes. They like to live with behind the line of scrimmage passes and passes up to about 5 yards. He has the fourth lowest ADOT. The Eagles last year were number one in the league on EPA allowed on those plays, those passes. and they're number 6 this year. And a lot of it has to do with their nickel corner, their linebackers covering space so well. So I don't like this matchup for them. And I know that the Bucs got to 23 last week, but if you go back and look at some of those touchdowns, it was a bust, a broken play, 2 60-yard field goals. Like the Bucs were not able to consistently move the ball. Right. I think Denver will have the same problems. I mean, look at what Denver's done. Struggled mightily against Tennessee, beat up on an injured Colts secondary, but then only had 9 first downs against the Chargers. Like, I don't think this offense is really good. And I think they're going to have a lot of problems today. So Denver team total under 19.5 is plus money.
Okay. If you like the Denver Broncos as an under for the team total, would that suggest, Dabbundo, you like Philadelphia for the game?
Yeah. If I had to bet aside. Again, I don't want to lay points with this team because for all we know, they'll win 19-16, and it'll be like Jalen Hurts completes 4 passes in the second half, and it's the only 4 passes they needed to like close out the final 30 seconds off the clock or something. I don't understand how this offense continues to operate like this, and clearly A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are no longer happy about it either, and to be honest, I can't blame them. But I was like, I had an Eagles under 2 weeks ago, and I felt great. I was like, wow, they had 19 first half yards. And then they just flipped the switch and they scored all these points in the second half and I got beat. And I'm like, I feel like I'm, stuck holding the bag here. I don't want any part of the Eagles offensive handicap. So if I had to bet aside, I think the Eagles should be laying like 5. But again, the Eagles don't even play to a true power rating so often that I'm happy to pass on that side there.
The Eagles have the Broncos, Giants, Vikings, Giants, a bye week, and then the Packers on November 10th. When did the Eagles suffer their first loss? If it's
today. It's going to happen today.
If it's not today, when is it?
Minnesota got healthy in time. Where's that game?
When's that Minnesota
game?
It's
in Minnesota on October the 19th.
Yeah, that could be we'll see what Minnesota looks like by then. Their O-line is healthy.
Because it's probably going to be Carson Wentz in that game, I would assume.
Decent bet. Yeah.
Ugh.
Raheem, they sometimes have that when they're who's going to lose last and everything. I don't see it on FanDuel.
Philly versus Buffalo is an interesting conversation on that, Sally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a fun one. Well,
do you like New England in that game, curiously, Dabbundo? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but that's one that I caught my eye as far as getting the points. Because just Buffalo's one of these teams, they'll do enough to win, but their defense allows you to move the ball, therefore you can get points. That's kind of my logic.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams played at the end of last year, and the line closed 14. So is New England really 6 points better than they were then? That I'm a little dubious of. I don't love. I think New England team total.
They might be.
If you like New England, I think you just play the team total.
Okay,
because I don't
just
think
hope
they're
they
getting a lot
points.
of stops.
Yeah, I understand that. I do think they're better. I mean, 6 points is probably a lot, but that coach, compared to what they have in this current coach, is a night and day operation.
Okay, it's similar to your Dolphins when they went there, right? JJ, the Dolphins scored points, but weren't going to win the game. Night game.
Well, I mean, they should have won the game if the idiot doesn't go and have a roughing the punter, and then the quarterback basically throws it right to the other team. I mean, it was halfway to win the game.
I just want to get your juices flowing about that.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm happy you could do so. Speaking of getting my juices flowing, and not in a good way, Anthony Dabbundo, for man's best bet, you wanted to parlay, and it's not a true man's best bet because you are giving us a favorite, but because of the fact that you're giving us an underdog and it's going to be plus money, I'll allow it considering the nature of the two teams. Explain to the audience that is watching right now on YouTube how you're kind of giving us quasi man's best bet.
Yeah, I was just going to do the Panthers, but they're like plus 102. And like that
feels fake. I understand that.
Yeah,
we appreciate
and I scoured the board. I looked at every underdog, and I was like, okay, I do kind of like Cincinnati with the points, but like they're not winning that game. I did like the Raiders were popular, but I don't think the Raiders are live really much at all, especially with this O-line situation. No Brock Bowers now. I'm not loving the Raiders. I'm looking down the board. Like I'm on Seattle. I'm on the Chargers this week, so I was like, okay, not them. Like I said, I kind of like Philly. So I got down the list, and I was like, I don't love any underdogs, which means it's going to be a huge day for upsets in the NFL. But the Panthers were one that stuck out to me. And I was joking with Sal on Friday. Imagine saying before the season you can get plus 260 on a Saints and Panthers to win the same week. So that's gonna be my upset special. Two of the worst teams in the league will both win today. Saints and Panthers plus 261. I bet both. Funny enough, I had a housewarming party Friday night, and a friend went to the casino, bet the Saints for me. and then got me. That was my gift. His housewarming gift to me was the Saints to beat the Giants.
You need new friends.
So that feels like a blessed bet.
Ooh.
That is a crazy gift. Because it's one thing to give somebody a ticket, like a Super Bowl ticket or a futures ticket on a team that's theirs, but to bet on the Saints and give it to you. Like,
Who's going to say no to that? Guys, as you can tell, I'm a little distracted. Brock Bowers not playing. Good news for your Colts, Dabbundo.
Yeah, he was ruled out.
Bad for my man's
they're
best bet. Really, really bad.
And then Colton Miller, on the offensive line, he already had one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and now he's out. So
the two most important offensive players.
That's not good for me. Dabbundo, I'll do you one better. Not only are the Saints and Panthers like in the 1.5 range, which we probably won't see again for a while. You have Arizona laying 8.5. Like those three combined, this is going to be a ridiculous week. I can see it already.
It did cross my mind, Tennessee, but no, I can't. Can't do it.
Well, honestly,
Tennessee just fired their coach. You could probably bet them, and they'd cover more often than not.
100%. Again, friends don't let friends bet the Titans.
That's right.
Until they show you something. Sorry, can't do it.
My hot take might be that when they fire Callahan and everybody who does NFL betting content comes on and has to tell us, well, they fired the coach, and now you got to bet the Panthers. I might be the guy, or the Titans. I might be the guy that's like, no, the Titans are so bad that you still should bet against them.
Wow.
The zag to the zag.
Are you? Would you say you're sounding the alarm, Dabbundo, on the Cam Ward experience, or is that coaching related, or a little bit of both?
Well, I think the whole staff might be rotten. Like the whole offensive coordinator situation, the whole roster. Like who is their difference maker on offense?
Yeah, you can't find one.
Pollard.
Good luck.
They have 3 touchdowns. After a month, they have 3 offensive touchdowns. That's not good.
And one of them was on a ridiculous play.
Rolling right.
And one of them was a concession when they were already down 20 to Indy.
Right.
Can we take a look at the Ringer 107? Sal and Dabbundo, I'm proud of you guys.
We don't know what we're doing.
Because I thought for sure we were going to be the only guys on Cincinnati. Like, I just figured when I said it to Raheem on Thursday, I go, no one's taking the Bengals. We're going to take the Bengals. And then Dabbundo, we appreciate your loyal dedication, scouting your opponents and seeing what's going on in this competition. I get the text from Dabbundo, we're on Cincy too. I'm like, all right, I can't have something by myself here. Let's take a look at these picks. I mean, when you can bet the Saints, you just can't say no, baby.
Can't say no. Got it as a gift. Bet it myself. Can't wait to walk to go.
Here's the funny thing: have Bill and House hit a parlay yet?
They've lost a whole lot of them. I hope they continue to keep losing them.
Every single
they had one. They had
House
one.
Literally hit same game parlays on this show every single week, and they can't hit a money line parlay together. So what's going on?
You know what, Sal? The mistake we made. We should have done Houston unders in a parlay as our bet.
No totals allowed, though, Dabbundo.
No, they are if they're in the parlay.
You can do a total, but you got to do it with the same game. But the problem is, y'all would have ended up picking the wrong game on Houston.
Right, of course. Yeah.
No, we would have just bet against Houston and bet the under. Been an easy money every game.
But you know what, though?
I am on Tennessee.
I am glad that Raheem and I proclaimed, because we were both upset about the fact that parlays were involved in this competition.
Yeah.
It's almost sell out of spite that even if there's a parlay that we like, we're like, nope, we're refusing to do it because the cosmic rules of this competition want those parlays to go down in flames.
Their parlays are so bad that they had a parlay on Green Bay last week and they tied.
To be fair, I kind of like their parlay this week.
I liked it.
Yeah, they look good every week until they don't. You know what I mean? They always look good.
They literally have not won a parlay.
They're going to go 3-14 on their parlays, their 5th pick, and they're going to end up 10 games out.
Maybe just pick another side. How about that? Maybe just pick another side.
Right.
Just saying.
Of course. A lot of games out there.
Yeah, our picks look pretty similar this week, JJ and Raheem.
Let me see that graphic one more time if you guys
we both
don't
have
mind.
Cincinnati.
Just
both have Seattle.
back and bad quarterbacks all over
we got
the place.
food.
Show the food.
I'll see the food instead. I mean, it feels like inside the NBA when, they just got to go and show Barkley looking, spiffy in San Antonio. Okay, so we have New Orleans together. We have Seattle together. We have Cincinnati together. Who liked Arizona, Dabbundo? Was it you or Sal?
Sal.
That was me. Yeah.
So
it was too fishy, the line.
I got a question for you guys, because, you guys have Carolina. You're not concerned about the Chuba Hubbard injury?
I'm always concerned about the Panthers.
Okay.
That was one game. There were a couple this week. Dabbundo, that game in Cowboys-Jets, I said, nope, not doing it.
I mean, like, what was Chuba Hubbard like 2 years ago? Like, is he that much of a needle mover?
No, for me, it's more about the issues on the offensive line and on defense that I have with Carolina than I would Chuba Hubbard.
I mean, Bryce Young isn't good right now anyway. So it's basically Ted McMillan and then who else?
That might be all they need against that secondary, though. I think this is a bad spot for Miami.
Dolphins don't stop the run. Their secondary actually played well the last 2 weeks. They can't stop the run.
Honestly, I think that's going to be y'all loser. I think y'all probably win every other game except for that.
Yeah. I like it, Raheem.
I mean, look, if we go 4-1, Raheem, I'm not going to be upset.
Listen, I'm rooting Dabbundo and Sal this week. Listen, we are very,
we're all
simpatico.
on the same side, but I think Carolina is just. I think that's dead money. I think the bottom 5 teams in this league right now. I mean, you're talking Carolina, you're talking Tennessee, you're talking about the Raiders,
Miami.
That's fine.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think Miami might be down there. I know they won last week.
Phillies. Yeah.
As the parting thought, Dabbundo, before we say goodbye.
The Phils are plus 260. Are they coming back to win?
Yes, that's exactly where I was going, Raheem. You asked the question
you can't
for
ask me that objectively. I have no objective opinion on that anymore.
Be objective about it.
My prediction was Dodgers in 5. I thought the Phillies would win the first 2, lose the next 2, win the 5th. I guess now I have to say that I think they're going to lose in 4.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think we cooked. And I love the Phillies, but it's just my biggest thing is that the thing that I've seen from this offense the last 2 years is just we just have dead spots. And you can't have dead spots against this Dodgers offense at all. But I do think they're going to leave an opening with their bullpen.
Yeah, you'll get to that bullpen at least 2 games.
They had runners on every inning last night. 7th, 8th, and 9th, they stranded guys. Like, it wasn't like they didn't have opportunities. But
Phillies winning game 2. That is a bet I will be
I do think they'll win game 2.
Better win game 2.
Need Bader, though. Bader matters, and it looks like they think he might play. We'll see. He was pulled early with a groin tightness. Went in for imaging, no issues. They're saying he might play game 2. They badly need him because their defense, he hits lefties.
He's had a lot of big hits, too. A lot of big hits, Bader. And he's a good playoff performer going back to his Yankee days.
Good catch yesterday, too.
Well, boys, that's going to do it for the Week 5 Ringer Sunday pregame. Sally, go luck to your Cowboys. Dabbundo and Raheem, go luck to your Phillies. Let's cash a whole lot of tickets. John Jastremski signing off. Good job by Jack and the crew. We out. Be good, everybody.